Earlier, somebody would think you were nuts, but it's been a great game, and it's their game.
The winner of this game will go on to face the Waterloo Warriors in the championship final. Waterloo beat St. X 87-79 in the first half of our TSN doubleheader tonight. In this one, the Manitoba Bisons are leading the Victoria Vikings 41-23 at the half. And we'll be back to the Halifax Metro Center with our halftime show in just a moment. We got a couple of guests coming up and some other things, information to pass along to you and so on. So we'll be back here, Jack Donahue along with Steve Cooney, bringing you the CIAU right here on the Sports Network. 41-23. Probably everybody in the Halifax Metro Center is surprised. Probably nobody more so than the Victoria Vikings, though. Right now, our guest is Lloyd Scrubb, one of the starting guards for the Vikings. And Lloyd, what is it that this team is doing that's got you guys bottled up?
Well, they're running a 1-3 zone that seems to be taking us right out of our offense. They're really playing in the passing lanes, and we're not getting any movement inside from the post so we can hit inside. So the second half, for us to come back, we have to get a lot more movement on our offense, I think, to do well.
I heard Ken Shields tell you guys in one of the huddles that this team is kicking your butts on the boards, and that seems to be the biggest single factor in the first half.
Well, that's true. They really came out to play. It seems like we're just really lackadaisical out there. We're not working hard. You know, we have to do that to play good.
Well, I was just going to say, I know the boards is not your business. How about the way they're stripping you of the ball out there? You frustration, or are you getting smacked a few times? How do you feel?
Well, they're smacking us, but, you know, I think it's going both ways. The ball's kind of slippery, hard to handle. I think the second half, that won't be a problem. We'll take care of the ball a little bit.
All right, we'll let you get back into the dressing room. I know you're going to talk to the coach and get this thing together again. Good luck to you in the second half. Thank you for joining us. Lloyd Scrubb, one of the starting guards with the Victoria Vikings. And Jack, if we can carry on just for a minute, you know, Ken Shields alluded to the boards. We've talked about it several times in the first half, but that's not the only thing. When you look at what Manitoba's doing, they're not winning the game just under the boards. They're winning it on the whole floor. They're doing everything right.
They're doing everything right, and right now Victoria's doing everything wrong. They're getting steals, which really throws the whole game out. Percentages don't mean anything is if you don't get a shot every time you go down. That's what the percentages mean. Turnovers really can cost you the ball game.
All right, you heard Lloyd Scrubb and what he said about what Victoria is going to have to do to try and stop this. What do you think the Vikings are going to have to do? The single most important thing they're going to have to attack in the second half.
The single most important thing is to get clear in their mind. If I were down there, and I'm sure Kenny Shields is doing it, I get that 18 points up there and I divide it by 20 minutes and show them how easy it is to get back in this game. 18 points is 9 baskets. Get the jump. You know, get a basket right away. We're down 8 baskets. It's a matter of stopping them and coming back and get them. But they can't try and do it right away in the first 2 minutes, or else they get greedy, make too many mistakes, and they get themselves in trouble.
Next question. Can Victoria do it? Can they get back into it?
I think they can. The time is not the element right now. I think the first 5 minutes of this game will determine whether or not they're going to do it. If they don't do it in the first 5, they're going to find themselves too much of a hole.
Well, you think they can do it, and I know one thing. Our sponsors are going to be glad you said that, because we got another half to go. The Manitoba Bisons are leading the Victoria Vikings, and we've got another half of basketball coming your way. The score 41-23 at the half. Manitoba leading Victoria. A bit of a surprise, maybe in one sense, but in another, not so much of a surprise, because there was at least one conference that knows what these Bisons can do, and they're not surprised at all. That's the GPAC. We'll be back to the Halifax Metro Center in just a moment. 41-23, Manitoba at the half. This is the CIAU on TSN. 41-23, the Manitoba Bisons leading the Victoria Vikings. We're at halftime at the Halifax Metro Center. This is the second half of our CIAU basketball doubleheader tonight. In the opening game, the Waterloo Warriors defeated the St. Francis Xavier X-Men by a score of 87-79. They qualified for the final. They'll meet the winner of this game, and right now it looks like Manitoba may be on the way, but the Victoria Vikings will undoubtedly have something to say about that in the second half. We've got a couple of highlights coming up for you, Coach. I know you picked a few things out.
Well, they're very simple highlights, but they tell the whole story of the game. One is what must happen here if Victoria is going to get in the basketball game. Here we go. We see Phil Ole comes with the ball. Ole is a key player, and here's the other player, and he's not playing at all right now. He's sat out. They've got to get that ball. They've got to get it inside. They've got to get it to Phil Ole. They've got to do it. Here's what's happened, though. Watch the pass. Garrow, it looks like, in here. House takes the ball, drops it off again to John, I guess, Heineman, and then Uggams goes up there. That's the story of the first half. They've got that basketball, and they're whacking it back and forth. They're throwing it around like it's a little pea.
The guy we're referring to in that Victoria highlight, Phil Ohl, is the one key guy. Cord Clemens, the other. He's the one who jammed that basket home. He did that once in the first half, but no more. He just has not been a factor in this ball game.
That's right. And he has to play. He has to play, you know. And if he doesn't play, it's going to be a problem. Again, the story of the first half was all Manitoba. Manitoba just does what they want with the basketball. Here's the ball here. This is what I think is a real key play. Watch the move. Takes the basketball, goes in here. As he makes the turn, knocks the ball loose. There's one of the pickpockets. Puts the ball down. Here they come down the other end. They throw 3 or 4 passes in this involvement. Here we go. It's House again. A little fake. Kicks it out here. In comes Terry Garrell. Is it Garrell? No, it's young Heineman. But it doesn't matter who they do it with because they do it with the same guy. They all look like clones out there, except they're all little thieves. Get the ball, shove it down, and then you got a Joe Uggams who controls all of the board, all of it.
If you had seen the Manitoba team on paper, the size advantage Victoria had going in, you would have thought, well, it is going to be a blowout, but the other way around, because they shouldn't be able to beat these guys under the boards. They're doing it. They shouldn't be able to beat them in the lane. They're doing it. How do you explain it?
Well, you don't explain it. It's just got to be done out on the court. They're doing it.
All right. We'll be back to the Halifax Metro Center in just a moment. The score at halftime, the Manitoba Bison leading the Victoria Vikings 41-23.
Good morning, Mrs. Reed. How's married life so far?
Love you. Hate your breath.
This works, but the taste.
Use my scope. Great minty taste and scope works.
On morning breath?
Try it.
Careful, it's glass.
No, it's not.
Plastic. Good idea. You're right. Morning breath's gone.
You can kiss it goodbye with scope.
Kiss morning breath goodbye with the good taste of Scope. Now in crystal clear, shatterproof plastic.
41-23, the Manitoba Bisons leading the Victoria Vikings halftime of this CIAU basketball semifinal game. One of the guys most responsible for that Manitoba lead right now is Joe Uggams. Joe, just an outstanding first half. You guys had almost everything going your way.
So we played hard defense and we hit the boards and made our shots in offense, just like Coach told us to.
All right, now, we saw you guys working out today. Everybody looked loose. You look loose right now, too, and with good reason. What is it that you've done to solve this Victoria puzzle? I mean, these guys are one of the top-rated teams in the country, and you guys are treating them like a high school team.
Well, we haven't done nothing. We just went out there and played hard defense, and that's it. That's just going to win the game.
Coach.
I know one thing you've done is you climbed up and you're the chairman of the boards tonight. You get anyone you want in your hands. You know, anyone that comes near you, you just scoop it up like a big vacuum cleaner for crying out loud.
Well, that's my job as a rebounder, and that's what I'm going to do. But it takes that to win.
Are you surprised that you're having that much success against them under the glass? I mean, really, if you look at the sheets, these guys outsize you by a substantial margin.
No, really, real good rebounding teams. And we play hard D, and we box out, so.
Well, we heard all about Manitoba's defense going in. TSN hadn't seen you this year. I know a lot of people in GPAC know what you're all about. You're going to let a lot of people in the country know what you're about tonight. In this one, what do you have to do in the second half? Anything differently, or will more of the same do it? Or do you think that they're going to be out here trying to solve this Manitoba puzzle?
Well, I think they're going to come out and play good hard defense and hit the boards. And our job, we got to go out there and hit the boards and play good defense and try and stop them. That's it.
All right, Joe, good luck to you in the second half, and good luck to the Bisons. Thank you for joining us. Our guest has been Joe Uggams, one of the starting forwards for the Manitoba Bisons. And we'll be back to the Halifax Metro Center with second half action and some stats in just a moment. This is the CIAU on TSN. Action on TSN, the Final Four here from the Halifax Metro Center. We've got some stats for you. Manitoba in the first half, Uggams with 15 points, Kaufman with 10, Light, House, Garrow, and Hyman with 4 apiece. For Victoria, Ohl with 7 points, Clemens with 5, Taylor with 6, Newman and Scrubs with 2 apiece. Rebounds, Manitoba 19, Vic 12. What a story. You've got some fouls.
I've got some fouls. The only one that really hurts any is Heineman's got 3 from Manitoba. Everybody, no one else got more than 2. That's not going to be a problem in this game unless Victoria can stop the game enough with a lot of fouls.
few other stats before we get back to the description of the action. Field goal shooting, Manitoba hitting 58%, Victoria 40%. Foul shooting, Manitoba hitting 56%, Victoria 30% from the foul line, 40% from the floor. Block shots, none for Victoria, only one for Manitoba, which isn't surprising because there's nobody out there much bigger than a gnat.
That's what they've got to do. If they can run that again, they're going to be in good shape.
There's an example of it right there. Clemens underneath. That's a guy, I think, that has to be the key. Phil Hull can run around all day, but unless he gets some help from Clemens, he's going to be neutralized.
Because there are a lot, here we got a little bit of a foul here, but there are a lot of Phil Hulls playing for Manitoba. There are no Court Clemens playing for Manitoba. There's no way they can match up with him.
Well, that's what happened in the first game. Randy Norris had things pretty much his own way under the board.
Here's the play, the drive to the basket, pumps. Good job. You know, Kaufman, you know now why he gets an awful lot of basket. He controlled. He could have shot that ball a half step earlier. Probably would have, you know, whether he made it or not, he wasn't going to get touched. Took the foul.
And he has increased that Manitoba lead to 19 points, 44-25. He'll try to make it an even 20 here, and he does.
Press, they still got their press, 2-2-1 press. They're looking to eat time off the clock.
Look at that, he just went up and took it away from him.
Now look at the difference here. See, against this press, instead of trying to pass it up, they get that ball. They're doing a lot of passing. They get the ball in the hands of Young House very quickly. We got a 3-second ball. They get the ball in the hands of Young House very quickly, and he distributes it.
Just saw Tony Kaufman go to the foul line. Jack, he's been pretty good from there tonight.
They've been 6 for 6, as good as I'm going to be, or you. Can't do any better than that.
Clemens underneath again. Probably goaltending, I would guess.
They called it.
Called against Uggams. The Mad Viking likes it.
Well, you know, that's been pretty amazing for a guy like Uggams to get up and get goaltending called against a guy as big as Court Clemens.
But that wasn't the easiest bucket I ever saw. I don't know what was. House bowled over the defender. Just dropped the pass off to Kaufman, who looked like he was having shooting practice. Foul call on House. Lloyd Scrub. Second personal on House. Team foul number 1 for Manitoba in this half. Scrub was the player he fouled.
Good job.
Phil Hull. Great pass.
That's a great shot, too. It's a great pass and a great shot. And yet, you know, they do something like that, and they're still down 18 points. That's the scary thing.
Look at this kid. House. It reminds you of those small backfielders in a football game. He doesn't go around people. He goes over them.
Coach Flutie of college basketball, eh?
Well, they told us to have a look at him.
Well,
Tony House, 5 feet 10 inches.
I saw him play 5. Let's look at the pass. Right in here. Here he comes. And he does. Kaufman does get a slap on the wrist in there and stops the shot. But I saw Little House, Tony House, Little House. He doesn't play little, that's for sure.
No, he plays 6'10".
But I saw Tony House play. I said little. He's got a brother, Jeff, who is coming into college next year. But I saw Tony play for 5 years of high school. You know, he played like that for 5 years. Now, his father played at Ottawa U for about 15 years. His father had a few academic problems.
It's getting physical out there right now, I'll tell you. Maybe that's what the Vikings have decided to try and do.
Yeah, they get the ball, they're disciplined. I'll tell you that, it's a very disciplined team. With all the wild running around they do, they get that ball a house anytime there's any trouble at all. And he gets it back himself sometimes. And gives it up sometimes.
Well, a lot.